This is Lon Winters with Graphic Elephants.
This is Jimmy Lamp.
This is Matt Vassallo with the RhinestoneWorld.com.
And you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
And you are listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hosted by...
My name is Terry Combs, RG, regular guy.
And Aaron Montgomery.
We're just regular guys having fun and trying to make a living in this really cool and exciting industry.
I think we all want to succeed 100% of the time.
Seek to understand before I try and make myself understood.
Bring a ton of great information.
Coming to you live from somewhere dark, dirty, and dank.
All right. Welcome into the Two Regular Guys. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at Our Success Group. Today is Friday, April 7th, and as you can tell, I am solo here. Terry is out again on vacation, and he said he would actually join us from the beach, but we didn't want to risk any wardrobe malfunction opportunities there. So no Terry today. Eric is off feeling a bit under the weather today, so sending him lots of love and light, and hopefully lots of healing vibes his way. So you're going to have just Aaron here today, but I have two wonderful people joining me. So it's not just Aaron. You actually have fantastic guests on the way here today. We've got Gavin St Georges, founder and CEO of Seps.io. He's going to be joining us to talk about simple systems and some tech tools that we can use to modernize our print business. So I am really excited about this topic. I love a good tech tool, and I am such a huge proponent of making sure that we build systems into our business. So I can't wait to grab this information from Gavin. Such a good guy, and just really all about sharing and giving back. And so I can't wait to talk to him. I'm really excited about that. I've got another guest I'm going to introduce in just a moment, but let's say good morning to some of the regulators that have tuned in early here. We've got Chuck. Good morning. Hope the weather there is cooperating, unlike other parts of the country here in the St. Louis area. Yeah, we've been having some decent weather. Actually going to be nice and sunny today, but yes, I know lots of people dealing with not so nice weather, from tornadoes to snowstorms to other challenges. So again, hopefully everybody's doing good. Kingsbury Crafts, good morning. And Jerry, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. And Kristen, good morning. And also, speaking of Kristen, I've got some help from Kristen with the dad joke coming up here in a little bit too. So, all right. Well, let's get into it here. I do want to introduce my first guest before we get into Gavin here. And his name is Adam Court. He's with Impressions Magazine. And so let's welcome him into the show. Adam, good morning. Welcome into the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Hey, Aaron. Good to see you. Thanks for having me. I confess I'm a little bit of shock over the idea of Terry having a wardrobe malfunction, but we're gonna soldier along as best we can. Right?
Yes, please put that out of your brain. I didn't mean to scar anybody with that idea, but Adam, hey, thank you so much for being here. First off, I guess just introduce yourself, right? Let the regulators know who you are, and maybe those that haven't had a chance to meet you yet, give us a little background.
Yeah, sure. Well, I've been with Impressions now. It seems like forever, but it's basically been since August I came on board. And before that, I've worked for a lot of B2B publications. I used to work in the marine industry. I used to be the editor in chief of a magazine called Sail Magazine, as in sail, which was more industry related than you think, just because of all the boats, the gear, and things like that.
Sure.
As we were discussing, before the show. I could not possibly be more excited about being part of this industry. And one of the reasons I took the job is because of the nature of this industry. A lot of, your listeners, I don't know, maybe you can begin to take something like that for granted, but it is super exciting. And the people have been outstanding. And I just love the dynamic at work here, where you've got lots of new blood coming in all the time. And in contrast to an awful lot of what's going on in America, in the world these days, where things become increasingly corporatized. This is an industry in which, good old fashioned know-how and an entrepreneurial spirit, and just a passion for doing good work. It can pay off in your own home business or a small business or a growing business. So it's been super exciting to be part of this. And I'm really lucky. I feel lucky to be part of this group, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about your role with Impressions. What's your responsibilities there?
So as content director, I am in charge of the magazine, the website, the e-newsletter, and any other kind of video stuff we're doing as well. And I work with Dustin Schrader, who I'm sure a lot of you have come across in the past. He's been here for a number of years as well. And also I'm involved in our educational conference sessions and things like that.
Nice.
So pretty much covering everything,
Yeah.
including the expos that we've had so far in 2023.
Yeah, nice. Well, speaking of those expos, right, and the fact that I love your passion for our industry already, and which is awesome. Like you said, that's what makes it. I don't know. We call it Hotel California, Adam. So you're now stuck here, but but you guys have also had some excellent expos already this year, and so you have a really fresh perspective on things. And so maybe share with us a little bit about that. What are some of the things that you see from an industry standpoint with your fresh perspective?
Sure. Well, again, I think a lot of it is what I just touched on. The dynamism of this industry is, I don't want to say unique, but I think it's very unusual. The fact that somebody with a dream, just mom and pop, ordinary people with a dream, can get involved, can jump in, and make a go of it. The technology is such. I think it's really exciting that the technology is such that not only is the quality in many ways, or the possibilities in terms of decorating growing by leaps and bounds, but you really can, whether it's leveraging the power of the internet to outsource heat transfers, or whether it's just diving in with some kind of a digital printing system, or an embroidery machine. And these are becoming easier to use and more powerful than ever. You can dive in and be a professional right away and make a go of it. The other side that I think is really two things. One, and I know we want to keep this somewhat short, but I'm super excited at the way the industry is looking health-wise right now. Both at the shows, at the Long Beach show and at Atlantic City, all I hear about is how everyone's busy. Order books are full. I paid a visit to the Stalls facility in Pennsylvania recently, and as I'm sure you know, it's expanding dramatically, and they have to. And what they're producing are heat presses for across the spectrum, mom and pop shops and big shops. So I love seeing the state of the industry and the fact that it's in growth mode right now and coming out of the pandemic so quickly. And then again, real quick, the other thing that I'm really excited about, or I was really excited about these last shows, I think, is the continued commitment to things like diversity and environmental awareness. The industry doesn't have to do that, but I'm seeing all kinds of great stuff coming down the pike. For example, from the apparel blank manufacturers, you've got Next Level Apparel making big moves. Fruit of the Loom is huge into the environment. You've got there was what's it called? Toasty Hemp, a new outfit, which is I think that's right. Making these great garments using hemp, which is a fantastic fiber for the environment. And then you've got organizations like Unite Together for Diversity, which those things don't have to happen, but they are. And they just it takes nothing for things and efforts like that to gain steam in this industry. And I think that speaks highly of the people who make it what it is.
Yeah. And from that place, right? Yeah, you're exactly right. It doesn't have to happen. But going back to your earlier comment about the entrepreneurial spirit and the people involved, that it's a different world than a lot of industries, right? I think that comes out of that, right? Where it doesn't necessarily have to happen, but it absolutely is going to happen because of the people. And so I appreciate you highlighting that stuff. That's really interesting. And I know you also gave us some links here. Normally Eric would have those ready to go, but we will make sure that those are in the show notes. You've got a couple of articles, posts on your website though, over there at Impressions Magazine, that people can check out, stuff like that. So Adam, what else? What else can we leave people with? I know I definitely want to get you back on, and we'll do a full show on kind of some of these ideas and concepts. But is there anything else that we missed before I let you head off to working on your projects there?
I tell you what, Aaron, you're playing with fire.
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
I can go on and on. I'm trying to be a good guest and a good journalist and be brief here, because I know you want to talk to your next guest, Gavin, who's a great guy. I always like to see him appearing. But now I think that's it for now. Again, just it not only is it an exciting industry, but I think it appears to be a very exciting time for the industry. in any number of ways. And again, it's great to be here. I appreciate being on the show. I love having this opportunity, and I'd love to be able to chat some more.
Absolutely. Let's do that. So I can let you out of here. I was looking into our banners because I'm sure Eric's got something up with this maybe, but tell people where they can connect with you, find out a little bit more about you, anything coming up with Impressions that you can share before I let you go.
Just jump on our website, impressionsmagazine.com. I'll give myself a bit of a plug. We completely revamped our e-newsletter and its schedule. So when you're on there, click on the e-newsletter button, and we will, like this podcast, help keep people abreast of the latest that's going on in the industry.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll make sure all those links are in the show notes, and so check that out, impressionsmagazine.com. And Adam, I really appreciate your time this morning. I appreciate you getting in and out, and like I said, we'll be in touch to let's do this again. How about that?
Absolutely. Outstanding. Thanks a lot.
All right. Have a great day, Adam.
Yep. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Well, great talking to Adam. Yeah, we wanted to introduce him and get him out into the world. And like I said, we want to come back, and he and I were talking earlier in the week, and one of the things I mentioned to him is that I am always so enthralled with people that are newer to our industry, and I want to listen, right? I want to sit and hear from them, because sometimes the biggest challenges that we have are the things that we know, right? It should be this way. It's always been this way. Well, what about a new perspective? What about a fresh perspective? And so just in a little bit of time, I got to talk to Adam earlier in the week. Boy, I learned a lot. So I can't wait to bring him back. We'll hopefully do that in the relatively near future and talk a little bit more about that kind of idea and just all the cool things happening over there at Impressions Magazine. So thank you very much, sir, for being here. All right. Well, let's transition here a little bit, a couple other things. Now, I know a lot of you guys here are tuned in because of the dad joke. I get it, right? You're here for the dad joke. Okay, I'm kidding about that. Probably not, but we do love that you guys have embraced the dad joke as much as we have. In fact, our very own regulator, in fact, she's here as a live listener here this morning. Kristen shared a dad joke with me when I got to see her out at the DAX show in Minnesota recently. So this is Kristen from Thread Designs Inc. And she shared this dad joke. So are you guys ready? There will not be any fun graphics or anything on the screen. You're just gonna have to listen. So she said, my dad has 2 Rottweilers. He named them Rolex and Timex. Yeah, because they're watchdogs. All right. We still need the drum roll, and I'm waiting for all the comments and the groans from the audience. But there's our dad joke. Kristen, thank you so much for sharing that. And if you guys have some ones that you'd like to share and have your name associated with them, or you can say just share this anonymously, you can do that by reaching out to us at info@tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, info@tworegularguys.com. So before we dive into the rest of the show here, I do want to thank everybody for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast. We are always looking for new guests. And if you or anyone you know would like to join us, if you'll just head over to Calendly, CALENDLY.com/2 regular guys. Again, that's the number 2 regular guys. And you can go there and see if there's a date that works, or if you want to just recommend a topic, recommend somebody that should be on this show, whatever, you can also reach out to us right from that link at calendly.com/2 regular guys. You'll end up emailing us over there at info@2 regular guys. So check that out. We're always looking for those new guests and wonderful people like Gavin, who we're going to talk to here in just a moment. So also, if you would like to lend your voice to the podcast, to be part of this show, we are looking to update our introduction and closing, and we need your guys' help. We need the regulators' help. And so I'm going to put this link in the chat. I can do that, I think, while I'm talking, maybe. But if you'll go to, here we go, put that in there. If you'll go over to decorators.inc, INK/intro, and if you'll go over there, you can record a video or audio message. And all we're looking for is for you to just, tell us your name, your company name, and then let the rest of the regulators know that they are listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast. You guys have heard the intro. So just follow along. Heck, you can even add a dad joke. You can do some sort of ad-libbing. Jimmy always says from the wrong side of the tracks, right? Somewhere dark, dirty, and dank. Whatever it is for you, just lend your voice to this. We'd love to have it. So again, go over to decorators.inc/intro. And there's a little bit of an instructional video that I have at the top of that to just help out. But again, just tell us your name, your company name, and let them know that you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast. And finally, we would appreciate that if you gave us a review wherever you do your podcast listening. Terry likes to list them all out. We're pretty much everywhere that there's podcasts. In fact, we even now have a YouTube podcast that's brand new. And so this show is out there and available as a YouTube podcast as well. And if you are watching live, please join in with your questions and comments. If you are listening to the podcast version, we would appreciate you sharing Two Regular Guys podcast with your industry friends so they can become regulators too. So with all that being said, I would like to share a quick message about a program that I'm really excited about over at our success group. And then we will get Gavin in here, and I cannot wait. So thank you, Gavin, for your patience. And here we go. Attention all Facebook group admins. Hey, are you looking for a way to help your community of business owners achieve greater success? I invite you to partner with me to offer a mastermind program to your group. Allow our success group to handle the back end and structure while you focus on building and engaging with your community. You will help your members reach their full potential. I'm going to give you all the training, tools, and support needed to host bi-weekly calls and support your community in their journey towards success. Visit mosmasterminds.com to learn more. And the best part, you can earn up to $1,000 per quarter per group with no cost to you. Again, visit mosmasterminds.com to learn more and to schedule a call to get started today. All right, well, check that out, mosmasterminds.com. And like I said, schedule a call and let's talk about how maybe that could be a useful tool for your group or community to have a true structured foundational mastermind program inside your community. So I'd love to talk to you about that. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to have like a formal group or anything like that. You want to be a lead, a facilitator of that. I'm happy to talk to you. So, all right, well, let's get into talking about some simple systems and some tech tools, ways that we can modernize our print business here. So let me, without further ado, I'm going to welcome into the show Gavin St Georges with SEPS.io, and welcome into the program. Thank you so much for being here this morning with me, Gavin.
Aaron, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Awesome.
Saw your article a while back, reached out to you. Been following the show for a while now, so thanks for having me here.
Oh, great. I'm so grateful to have you here. And I'm grateful that you reached out. That meant the world to me that you reached out and just made comments about the article that I wrote. And so I so appreciate that. But Gavin, let's for those that don't know, and hopefully people are aware of you, because I think SEPS.io is a really cool deal that you've got going on. And so hopefully people are aware of that. But let's just assume, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe your history in our industry leading up to creating SEPS.io and stuff like that. So yeah, just give us the origin story and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. So this all started with a crazy idea from my wife. And all right, so I'm working a regular job, right? Good job. And this is what we all want, like American dream, right?
Yeah.
At the time, my wife, she was pregnant at the time, and she wanted to make cool stuff for our kids, like onesies and stuff. Yeah. And she came to me with the idea about making this onesies and stuff for our kids. And like a good husband, I told her, no, I don't want to do that. That's crazy. No, that's because I was going down this corporate path. I had everything lined up. I was set up for this big promotion. I felt like that was going to be a distraction. But she was persistent, and then I started. Yeah. So eventually, I gave in. To started helping her do this little side hobby, just so she could make some t-shirt for our kid that was coming. Not knowing that this was going to be a rabbit hole that I was just going to fall into, right? So I started learning more about making t-shirts. This is about 8 years ago. Started learning more about making t-shirt, and then realized, hey, we could turn this into a business, right? So literally started very humbly with a heat press at home. Grew that into a manual screen printing shop, multiple auto shop, and eventually end up selling the business, right? So a lot of that happened through my journey, because a lot of the things I had learned even before getting into the industry, I ran big businesses for other people, right? As a general manager for this major corporation down in South Florida, helping them capture a bunch of market share, helping them open up a whole bunch of stores, gives me a lot of foundation just how to like run businesses, build teams, use systems, use technology to in a business setting. So I applied that to my business, and with some success and a lot of failures too. I think we're good. I think it ended up working out. And then we're here now. We started Seps.io. But really I'm here to share some of the things that could possibly help other shops. I do notice a lot of shops, we get into the business with a lot of passion, and we want to just make money, of course, and serve our people. But systems and process is not like a skill that a lot of us have in the industry. So hopefully what I share here today, somebody could, it could be helpful for somebody.
Yeah. I know it. I know the things that you share. And I guess that leads me kind of here, like, obviously you have a nice breadth of knowledge of what people are doing. You've done it, right? You've had a successful businesses. You even mentioned that you had some quote unquote failures. So you've had plenty of learning opportunities too. And then obviously the artwork side of it, with, being somebody that's basically an outsourced artwork facility, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But you gave this presentation since we had Adam on, right? Impressions Expo, talking about simple systems to run a modern printing business. And so, yeah, I appreciate that you're here to share that with people, because I do agree that this is really important. But maybe give us a little more depth as to that. Why is it so important for a screen printer per se, or any decorator really, to have a print shop that's set up with systems in it?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, you're right. I did give this class at Impression, both at Long Beach and also in Atlantic City.
Nice.
Actually, when I finished the Long Beach class, after the class, I received an email from one of the attendees. The attendee was said in the email, "This is the best class he's ever taken." Of course, I felt really good about that.
Yeah.
But and part of it was because it was just right timing. He was facing a lot of problem in his shop. He didn't know how to like clean all this up, or even think about it, or even how to even start this whole journey of trying to like organize your business, systematize it, what tools to use, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about here. And if you could, what was the second part of the question?
Well, I guess just kind of like, yes, it sounds exciting, but like, why is it having these systems so important? What's the benefit of taking the time to implement these systems?
Yeah. So without systems, I don't think you have a business that is sustainable, that you have a business that could free you. I believe I get into business for these reasons. My personal reason for getting into business is for freedom, for flexibility, and for finance. These are the three things that I want from my business, right?
Yeah.
And in order for me to achieve that, the business cannot be weighing me down. I have to be able to run the business in a way where the business is giving me these benefits that I want. And the way to do that is through systems and process, is through standard operating procedure. Now, everybody knows or have heard, hey, you got to do systems, right? But the problem usually happens is, where do I start? How do I do it? Like, it feels overwhelming when people think about that. And a lot of time it's not the fun side of business. It's actually the boring side of business. It's like, because you really have to slow yourself down, really have to like use more. It feels like you're doing like no action, because a lot of time you feel good when you're printing a shirt, you could see it, right?
Yeah.
But when you're sitting down, like structuring systems and processes or putting all this together, it doesn't feel like you accomplish anything. But this, for you as an owner or CEO, that's the most impactful activities that you could be doing in your business. So that's why systems and processes is important. If you want to be able to sell your business, you want to be able to pass your business to maybe your kids, or even take a vacation without worrying, you need systems and processes.
I love that. Yeah, you get, Terry and I always joke that as a small business owner, you've given yourself the right to work every hour of every day. And I love that you mentioned that about the business weighing you down, right? Because I think a lot of people create their business but what they're actually creating is just another job for themselves that's going to steal all of their time from them. And so understanding that when you put systems and processes in place, that allows you to lift that weight off. It allows the business to work for you. And like you said, being able to take a vacation, that's always the big joke, right? What, you're a business owner and you took a vacation? How could you do that? Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So Gavin, let's, I think we can all agree, and regulars chime in if you disagree at all. I'd like to have that conversation, but I think we can all agree we obviously need these systems and processes in place. So what might that look like, right? What you mentioned it earlier, where do you start?
Yeah. So it is really about, like, how do you start? Like, because that's where the problem starts to happen. Because you have to do it. Like, how do you even begin to do it? So here's what I prescribe, like, to start going down this way.
Yeah.
Is really to first start thinking about system and like what is the simplest way I could do this? Like, what approach can I take that makes it simple? It really start about system thinking. Like, depending how you are, depending what type of personality you are, like as you go down, like trying to systematize your business, it may be easier or harder for you depending on your personality. If you see the world through, you're more analytic, this is going to be easy for you because you see everything inside of boxes or rectangles. Everything fits into some type of pattern, right? But a lot of people are not like this. A lot of people, they feel through life or feel through business, and there's no boundaries, right? So it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's not impossible. It's just you have to know which personality you is and adapt, right? Let's say you are the person that you don't see the boundaries. You may have to hire somebody to kind of help you with that, or you may have to leverage a team member that is more analytical in their mind to see that, because it does require that, like, you put everything in its proper place. So it starts with about systems, like thinking systematically in your business. Like, if you train your eye to see things, you'll see things repeat over time in your business. If you see the same thing repeating over time, oh, that's a system right there. Okay, we receive shirts every day. The truck come here. We have to do these steps. I could systematize that, right? Or this is how shirts move through my business, or my products move. Those are patterns that you see, but you have to really train your eyes to see that. So it's about systems and process, thinking systematically, and also just bringing this idea to your business where this is how we're going to decide to run our business. It really just start bringing that idea to your leaders in your business. Hey, we're going to run a systematized business, and that's going to be part of our culture. It start with having one conversation, let's say with your key person. I probably wouldn't go and like do a full announcement. Hey, we're going to try to clean up everything. what's going to happen is most people are going to resist because most people don't want that change, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have folks that's been in your business for a long time. You
Yeah.
really just want to start, sell the idea to yourself, and then sell the idea to, say, a key person that could help you move this forward.
Yeah.
So start with that. That's how I would say. Then we could go down in the framework that you could use, but without starting with that type of thinking first, you're not going to be on a good foundation.
Yeah.
So it's really about that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's so true when you share that, right? Because I love how you also looked at, what is your personality type? What is the way that you go about things? I think in our industry, we find a lot more of the feeling because it's a very creative space. Creativity is messy. There's no box for that. There's no system for that. And I think creativity is a draw for a lot of people to get into this. And so therefore, like you said, you have to just start training your eye to see, okay, because it goes beyond even like you were talking about that, like the way you interact with your customers, the way you market your business. These are all potential systems in my mind.
Yeah.
But again, how do you look at that? So I think that's a really good share to think about that. So Gavin, also as you kind of get this started, I want to stay on that question for just one more quick second, right? Let's say you are starting out, like when you started your business out, right? And if you're not really that kind of analytical type thinker, what are some things that you should be thinking about as you're getting your business started?
Yeah. So I'll share a framework that you could use. And when I started this in our screen printing shop, I actually struggled because I had experience doing it in a corporate setting, but not in an entrepreneurial setting. And an entrepreneurial setting is a lot different than, say, a corporate setting. Because corporate setting, you have all the resources, you have lots of people, and you have a lot of money that you could throw at this.
Yeah.
Right. But when you're running it like in a small business, it's completely different because you don't have all those resources and you don't have a lot of time. That's why it really starts with you trying to like simplify it.
Yeah.
Really, the way that you want to do this is there's 4 things that I think that you should focus on when you're starting to go down this path. 4 systems, if you want to call it. Right. So the first thing would be what I call accountability system, which is really just mapping out your business. A lot of folks, they hear this. A lot of folks, they have what's called an organizational chart, right? In their business, right? You could start there. Just tweak that, make that an accountability system. Because what I mean by that is like the different roles in your business, document those, right? And put, like, if, for example, you're running the business and small businesses naturally have 3 to 4 departments, right?
Yeah.
The first department is sales and marketing. Then you got your production department. Then you got your finance or admin department, right? So those are the natural department of a small business.
Yeah.
Put those on paper. And then that's your accountability system. Each box has somebody's name and their role, right? Because without starting there, nobody's really going to take responsibility, at least on the whole thing, right?
Yes.
So if you're going to start, say, systematizing your sales and marketing, there's at least one person there that's in charge of that.
Yeah.
So, because as the owner, you should not be doing this work all by yourself, especially if you have an existing team already.
Yeah.
You are actually the worst person to do it as the owner, because there's so much coming at you. You got to grow your business. You got to train your people. You got to hire. This is just going to be one more thing that you put on your to-do list. But if you do this where other people own it and it then becomes part of your culture, then it's easier. You should actually, as the owner, just be able to like support the people to do this and not do it yourself, because all the people have all the knowledge in their head already.
Okay.
systems and processes or capturing it is really just about transferring that knowledge into a document that you could then share in the company. You don't have all the knowledge in the, like if you're running a traditional screen printing shop or promo shop or print, all the knowledge are with the people that's in your business.
Yeah.
So you got to use that.
Yeah.
I'll say start with accountability system. And the next thing you should think about is what I call essential systems. Essential systems, because like you don't want to make this a huge exercise where you're gonna, well, I gotta systematize my whole business. Like, how do I like that just feels scary already, and that it's gonna make you not even want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So your essential systems is like, what are your top 10 to 20 systems that you could have documented that could allow the business to run almost by itself, right? And it goes back again to those departments. Because if you think about it, most businesses, what's the function? Somebody becomes aware of what you do, they buy your offer, you could produce the thing that you promise, and then you could make sure you have some type of control to control your cash and also hire and fire people.
Yeah.
Those are your major systems. If you could, that could happen. If you could attract people, make money, deliver what you need to deliver, and not lose the money. If you have systems around those, then you have most of your systems documented. Now there are more granular that you go into as you start to build out, but start with those core systems, essential systems.
Yeah.
Right. And number two, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, this is great. I'm actually making notes as you talk, so just keep going. This is awesome.
Yeah, so I share two things. So accountability system, which is really flipping your organizational chart into an accountability chart. Essential system, really the core systems that you need, top 10 to 20 systems. And the next thing is just a system for your system. So pretty much when you go into this, what you want to do is templatize this, right? And create a way to capture this thing. Because if you're trying to customize it, every single system that you want to document, you're just going to be doing this, intellectual exercise every time, which is hard, right? Yeah. So that's when you want to create templates, how to capture the system, create a place to make sure that happens. So you need a system for your system.
Okay.
That makes it easier to just rinse and repeat and use the same framework.
Yeah.
And then the last part is really that's when we start applying technology into it. The tools that you're gonna need to like store this, to capture it, to secure it, because once you capture the system, now they're now your intellectual property. This is your business. You want to make sure that you secure it, and you also want to make sure that you could share that like appropriately with other people. Let's say you have a new person that's coming in. Yeah. That system could be formed as a training for that person. You could turn those systems into QR codes. You could share that on a refresh training, so that those systems that you captured becomes more of a living thing in your business than just say, oh, I did this exercise one time and that's it. But once you have it captured and you use the technology tool, then now you could just take this to the next level, and then you could share it and store it. And somebody's want to buy your business, you could just pass those systems on to them. That makes it super valuable, and it looked like you've been playing big business instead of small business.
Yeah, I love that. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to get into some other things here, but I wanted to hit a couple of comments from the regulators here before we go too much further. Ramona says for lots of people, the business side is the grunge work, the things that we don't want, but it all has to be done if you want to be successful. So that's when we were talking about why earlier on there. Bling Al Creation says, I met Gavin briefly at Impressions Expo. So glad to hear him talk. So there you go. Jerry says, hoping this will help me as I will be transitioning from a 35-year career into my printing business. I do not want to go too quickly, just want to do it right for me. So real quick, Gavin, anything you can speak to on that, right? Because I know you transitioned from kind of a corporate role into this too. And I know you shared a few little tips earlier, but maybe just reiterate that.
Yeah. Well, when you're just starting out, you just want to start out, right? I heard this thing, somebody told me, and I just loved it. Like whatever you starting, start it bad. And bad means before any delays, right? So systems and process is something that you're going to have to face along your in your business. And if you have the skills now, of course, apply it, but I would not let that hold me back, right? Because like I think we said this earlier, this industry is about passion. It's about just creativity. Leverage that, because that's what you have. Because if you're trying to like start systems and process even before you make your first sale, it doesn't like no. Go get the first sale, build what you got to build, but you will have to face this monster that's systems and process as you start to add customers and see more customers and more people. Because what happens is you know all the stuff in your head, but once you start to add more people, it becomes chaos. And systems and processes rein all those in. So a message to you, if you're making a transition, I made a transition. I think it worked out for us. I'm here.
I'd say it did.
Yeah. So just go do your thing. Go make use your passion. Go get the first sale. You'll be good.
Yeah, I love the start bad, right? What did bad stand for again?
Before any delays.
Before any delays. I love that, because I think that's so real too. And I love that you shared in, here's what you need to kind of set up, that you talked about essential systems first, right? Because I do think we look at this and we go, oh my gosh, that's such a big lift to systematize my whole business, right? Just get the stuff, just get it started, get the momentum built before any delay, right? Get that system. I guess going back to what you said, just train your mind towards looking for those things. You don't have to create a system. You can see where a system is kind of created inside of your business, and then your job is to document that, is what I'm taking from this. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. And even that could be a little hard, because like if you're starting from a blank slate, it's kind of hard to know what to look for. That's why if you start with accountability system, just document those. Like, how do I make people aware of what I'm doing, which is really your marketing system? How do I make an offer and close the deal, which is your sales system? It could be just like, how do I give a presentation to my customer? Like, I do this, and that, and ask for the sale. How at a basic level, how do I? You don't have to go down the details, but like, how do I move an order from the time I got it to a finished order where it's printed or it's shipped? Like, just like, what are the steps? Right. And then at the end, just make sure you have some type of system to secure your money. And even like, just think about even like if you're gonna bring somebody into your business, how do you do that? Like, or if you need to let go of somebody from your business, how do you do that? Like, even if it's just bullet points, right? Start there, and then over time you're gonna start seeing the other things, right? Just because if you don't have that, then you're gonna be like, should I put all my energy on this thing that I just? Because that's a battle, because you don't know if you're even doing the right thing. So I would say that.
I love that. And I think, what you're also kind of saying is, these things will evolve. Like I said, just start with some bullet points, because these things will evolve as your business grows and changes. And, if we're talking to newer people for sure, or somebody like Jerry, who's transitioning here, right, that just taking that action, letting it evolve, but actually, kind of thinking about the fact that you're building systems along the way. I guess that's what I keep going back to. So maybe that's just my perspective.
And for you just starting out, because eventually, I think most of us want. I think a lot of us want a business that could sustain us
Yeah.
for a long time, right? And for a business to sustain it for a long time, it needs to be somewhat big in size, right? Somewhat big in size. And that usually means involving people into the business, right?
Yep.
So let's say you're just starting out. Eventually, you will need people, but it's just you right now. And your accountability chart, put your name on all the boxes,
Yeah.
right? Because you are the CEO, you are your sales guy, you are, and then work on it, like challenge yourself maybe every quarter or every 2 quarters. Take your name out of a box by replacing yourself and put somebody else in.
Yeah.
Right. So that could be a way where you could like phase it, but at the same time, you could visually see something that could guide you in your decision, where you're not just making a decision just based from guts. It's based from this plan or this playbook that you set for yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, this is some really great stuff, Gavin. Thank you so much. Okay, well let's keep going. I've got some other things I want to touch on here. So you've shared this fantastic framework. You talked about the applying technology. So can we talk about that a little bit? Can we get into when you say applying technology? What does that mean for us? What do you see in that?
Yeah, this is where it starts to get hairy for a lot of folks, because if technology could waste a lot of time if you don't know what you're doing. Plus, you could, because I know a lot of people now, they have a bunch of subscription that that they don't even know, right? Because they wanted to try this tool, but they don't have the bandwidth to just fully get all the get all out of it. And we just do this because we just see this like shiny thing that we want to try, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool to experiment with things, but again, you're fighting time, and a small business is about time. Like, what is the fastest way I could get to the money? That's how I think about it, right?
Yeah.
And so what's a way that you should think about technology is really, again, systematize or use a framework to think about your technology. Here's a way to think about like technology. So it's really, for most small businesses, is about 4 categories of technology tools that we need, right? And if you have those 4 categories of technology tools, then you could run your business on a very slim or lean tech stack. You don't need a bunch of tech, just the right tech, right?
Okay.
So really the first category is a collaboration tool, right? Because you need a tool that allows you to collaborate, especially as you start to grow your business internally. You need to keep the communication alive, right? That allows you to collaborate. And here what I'm thinking about is something like Slack, for example. Slack is a tool, or it could be something as simple as a group text. That's literally what Slack is. Like, just that's a collaboration tool. In the beginning, your collaboration tool could be a group text.
Sure.
Because you just need to be able to communicate. And a lot of time it's done in a digital form. But of course, as you start to grow, then you will need a professional tool to do it. Slack, Microsoft Teams, or one of these things to have everybody all in one place. Because what happens is if there's not a place for people to communicate, and for you to monitor that as a business owner, then the business feel like that void is going to be filled by something else.
Yeah.
And that then you can't control your culture. So just by installing a collaboration tool allows you to control your culture and allow you to control the flow of the movement of information through your company.
Yeah.
The next one is operational tool. First is collaboration tool. Next one is operational tool. So we are literate for the type of business that we do is we're project managers, pretty much that's what we are. So you need a tool to be able to let you manage all the stuff that you have going on. Like, so here I'm mainly talking about for our type of business, like printing business, that's like where a shop management tool would come into play, right? Allows you to have your orders, move your orders through the different stage. and take it from step 1 all the way to step 10 if you needed to.
Mm-hmm.
So and it also allows you to put your back end team, front end team. These tools right now are like super. They're nice. They're all good. Like I use a lot of tools that's out there: Printavo, Shopbox, YoPrint, TSum. So these are some tools that is made for our industry. If you're a t-shirt printer, if you're in the promo, I'm sure there's other tools that's made already. There are other tools outside of the industry. I'll almost recommend go with an industry tool because it's catered to your needs already, and you don't have to like build it out, right? So that's why I would say operational tool. And as you start to grow, you're gonna need a relationship management tool, which is really like, because once you start getting into sales, you got deals, you got your customers in different stage, you got a bunch of stuff going on. You need one tool to kind of like hold all that in.
Okay.
If you have that tool will then allow you to just manage that whole sales process, the relationship with your customers, the relationship with your prospect, do outreach, and do it in an organized way.
Okay.
And then the last tool is really your marketing or your content tool. I'll be honest, I struggle with this for a long time because I don't consider myself to be a marketer. So I tried a whole bunch of things here. If you could find 1 to 2 tools that could help you just market your business, like if you're doing a lot of digital marketing, you could find 1 tool, for example, like a Hootsuite, that you could put all your social media platform on instead of you having to have 10 different accounts and then you have to manage all of those.
Yeah.
Have 1 tool that could just allow you to do that, or have an email tool that could just allow you to communicate with so it's really about simplifying the whole content or marketing tool. So it's 4 categories: collaboration tool, operational tool, relationship management tool, and just a content and marketing tool, or a group of marketing tool. But I would try to keep it as slim as possible because you just don't want this to overwhelm you. So that's how to start thinking about it, and then we could get into the specific tool if we need to.
Okay. All right. No, I think that's fantastic. And you gave us some examples of some specific tools along the way. You mentioned Hootsuite, you mentioned Slack, you mentioned some of our industry tools for operational tools. What any specifics as far as I call it a CRM, you call it a relationship manager, right? What do you like out there in that space?
Yeah. So here are my favorite tools. My favorite tools are the tools that, like, of course, they're proven tools. Like, for example, a lot of us, we're using a lot of tools right now, but we're not leveraging it all the way, right? I'm sure a lot of us right now use the Google ecosystem to do our email, to do. They offer, like, the whole Google ecosystem offers so much tools that you could just run your business on. Like, I leverage Google's tool by their email, their storage system, their presentation, their sheets. So all of these tools are there. You could literally run most of your business through them.
Yeah.
So I try not, because there are other tools that are an alternative to that. If I could stay in one ecosystem, it just makes it easier. So I would say start with what you already have and just go deep into it instead of trying to get a bunch of tools, right?
I like that.
Other tools that I really love to use in my business are Loom, for example. Especially if you're going to start doing this systems and process things, you need a way to kind of capture this system and process. And the best way to capture systems and process, by the way, is start with your phone, right? Just record what you're doing already and just put that in a place. What I like to do is just either use my phone, or if I'm recording systems on my screen, I'll just use Loom, capture it, and that becomes my system. Like, it was that simple.
Yeah.
Right. I love using this tool that's called Notion.
Yep.
So Notion is this place where it allows you to just store. It's like an all-in-one workplace. It has database, docs, right? And for example, I use Notion to store all my systems. I use Notion to hold all my meetings. I use Notion to like uh, what we use Notion for. Or I could categorize especially if you want to get into different businesses, you can have a workspace inside of one Notion for different businesses. It just allows you to like one click, open up that business, one click, close that, and then go to the next business. So that's how you can like run multiple businesses just in one workspace. Slack, I love Slack just as a way to keep everybody together. A small, like a CRM tool that I use that I really love when I was running my shop. I use HubSpot now because it's more robust, but I don't think for screen printing shops or for garment decorator, we need a super robust like CRM. We just don't. You don't need a Salesforce or a HubSpot. I found this tool that's called Streak CRM, like Streak. What I loved about it is it embeds right inside of Gmail. And so you have your CRM right inside of your email system.
Huh.
So it feels like you have one, like just go to your email and you have it. Once you install it, it creates another section, and then you can see all your deals and all your communication with your customers naturally happen in your email anyway. So it's all right there. Streak CRM is really, really cool.
I love that.
Let me see here. Yeah. And of course the industry tools for your shop management. So I use Printavo, and lately I've been playing a lot with YoPrint. So if you guys need a shop management tool, look up YoPrint. But there's a lot of other great tools for shop management.
Awesome.
Shopbox, Tsum, all those guys, they do good. And of course, my favorite tool is Seps.io because I built it, and I'm biased to that. So
there you go. Well, that's a perfect transition because we are getting down to the end here. So I can't let you go without talking about a little bit of artwork and talking the Seps.io. So, it's a remote art department for screen printers and more, but maybe just share a little bit more about it. Maybe give us a use case or two. Just kind of tell us a little bit about Seps.io here.
Yeah, sure. So I ran a screen printing shop for 7 years, and I struggle with artwork.
Yeah.
Artwork is probably the hardest thing that a screen printer or a shop owner has to do because it's the most complex. Unless you are a graphic designer yourself right now, you're gonna struggle with this. Plus, what you're gonna find is your options. You could try to find a freelancer that could help you. They have a lot of advantage, right? Because they're flexible. Sometimes the pricing is good, but what you'll find is they're not reliable. They're inconsistent. So you really can't run like a sustainable business through a freelancer. Or your other option is you could hire an in-house graphic designer. And that's a great choice because if you have an in-house graphic designer that could just come in and understand your culture and do what you need to do and able to handle the capacity, that's a great choice. And if you could do it, do it. But what happens is when you're trying to hire a graphic designer, first they're very hard to find. Somebody that understands the industry. You could find general graphic designer, but graphic designer that understands print and understand how to do the type of work for our industry there's just not a lot of them, right? So they're hard to find. Just like if you want to find a graphic designer right now, it's probably going to take you about a month to a month and a half from the job posting, from interviewing, from making the offer, from onboarding before you could get like the first type of result from them, right? And you don't even know if that's gonna work out, right? Right. So here's what Seps.io is. So Seps.io does this. All of these options, they have their positive. What we did was take all the positive and combine it into one thing. So working with freelancers, you have the flexibility and you have your payment is not so crazy. So we took that. Working with a graphic designer, they understand your system. They are pretty much working in your business. So we took that. And then we drop all the bad stuff. Cause like, so Sepside Allow gives you a remote art department. We have a team of graphic designers that is there. You work with us through a simple platform, and then we will do all of your work for you, right? Your proofs and your mock-up, your vector retrace, your embroidery digitizing, your color separation, some custom art, as long as it's within scope, your promo product designs and presentation, all of those are done. And it all packaged for different size because every shop is a little bit different. They have different capacity.
Yeah.
So there's different plans to fit different shops. So that's what Steps.io does, is really just taking this burden that a lot of shops have, that's really hard, and simplifying it, give them a turnkey solution that they could just plug in right now and not have to wait a whole month and a half to get like results. Today the team is not on because it's Good Friday and we gave them off today. But if you wanted to get on today, let's say you would get results today, right? That's how Steps.io is. As long as, so here's the thing though, there's limited spots. Like we don't, right now the team is growing, but it is limited. So if you're gonna get in, you have to get in before all the slots are taken.
Yeah.
So that's what we are. So as far as a quick case study, and if you go to our website, which is www.seps.io, and you can see that on my name, next to my name, you will see case studies of other shops. And what we're hearing from other shops is just literally I don't think we are a fit for every shop. Like I literally don't think we are a fit for every shop. But for the shops that we are a fit for, we help them save a lot of time. And what we're hearing is like this is transforming the way that a lot of shop owners do business, because they didn't first imagine it this way, or imagine that. One thing that we hear a lot is like, man, we didn't think this was going to be so easy, because whenever we work with freelancers, it's a crazy experience. It's like, and a crazy bad experience. And when they come working with us, it's a different experience. And a lot of it is because applying systems and process, that's the sauce, really.
Yeah.
Systems and process, everything is systematized as best as we can. We try to make sure the experience is as pleasant as possible for our shop owners. So you have, and one thing that makes us different, say, from our competitor, is we pair graphic designers together with customer success people. What that is graphic designers are not great at communicating with, say, your customers or giving you a good experience. And we know that.
Yeah.
So we don't force our graphic designers to do that. So we have account managers there to make sure the relationship and that all your projects are moving forward, so that way you can get good value from the investment that you're making with Steps.io.
Nice. I love that. You and I have talked about Steps.io before, and I got the full rundown, and so I'm so grateful that you shared how all those pieces come together, because I do think that, like you said, it's maybe not for everybody, but boy, I think people might want to really give it a good look though, because it certainly could be. So I appreciate that. And Chuck asked if I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. 100%. These will all go in the show notes. Okay. Yeah. Before I let you get out of here, so people can connect with you through Steps.io. And that's probably the best way to connect with you. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, or Gavin at Steps.io. That's my email. Just my first name at Steps.io.
Perfect. That's easy. I did want to share a couple comments when we were talking about tech tools too, just to get them out there. We don't need to discuss them here, but Stephanie Wood Russell said, I love Loom. My virtual assistant I use this to keep all the trainings and how-to stuff. And she also says she uses Klaviyo and for CRM, and has been very happy with that too. So again, yeah, finding that system that works for you, I think is kind of the key we're sharing, right, Gavin?
Yeah, definitely. And Loomis, and one thing she mentioned there, which is a ninja move, my virtual assistant, right? So a lot of us is not like leveraging that. Literally having somebody there that could, because like you as the owner won't be able to do everything on your own. And having a virtual assistant is like your co-founder a lot of time. It's like your person that you could dump a lot of this mental weight and have you help them carry. And if you're going to be building systems and processes, a virtual assistant is key. If you could get that, because they could literally be your systems champion and help you systematize your whole business. So Stephanie, that's awesome that you said that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for bringing up that point. I love it. All right, Gavin. Well, we are getting a little bit into bonus time, but that's totally okay because it's been so valuable. Totally worth it. But I do want to see. We always like to see. Can we squeeze just a little bit more information out of our guests? And I'm not sure we can squeeze much more because you've given us so much gold. But I'm going to try. All right. So, can you give us like one piece of advice that you would give a decorator, a screen printer, whoever, somebody in the printing space here? What's one piece of advice that you would give them that helped your business?
Yeah. Take this with a grain of salt, because I try to stay disciplined to this, but it's a daily fight. It's just really staying focused. Stay focused. Like, just know what you're trying to do for your life and for your business, and stay focused to that, and try to fight as much as you can the distractions or the other stuff that comes in the way. Because most plan work if you work it, like literally, right? But a lot of time what happens is you start something and you lose excitement, or you just don't carry it all the way through. So staying focused to what your life goals are, what your life visions are, and then what your business visions are. I think most of the time I don't know. So far, and I'm not that old, so I don't have that much wisdom or whatever. So I'll take it for whatever it is. But what I've seen is when I'm focused on the things that I want to do, I get it done. And when I'm not focused, I fail.
Yeah. What a why. Your why is beyond your years, sir. That is a fantastic tip. Focus is definitely a challenge for everybody. But I think the other thing you said inside of that, right? But you got to know what you're trying to do first, and then you can focus on it, right? So I love that. Gavin, I cannot thank you enough for your time today. This has been fantastic. We really appreciate all the wonderful information that you shared. Make sure that you guys reach out to Gavin. You check out Steps.io. It's worth your time. Just getting to spend a little more time with this guy is worth it. So, Gavin, thank you so much for being here today. I will talk to you very soon, sir.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Thanks for the invite. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate you guys.
Bye, Gavin. Awesome. Wow, that was fantastic. I've always enjoyed every conversation I've got to have with Gavin, and this is no exception. Just wonderful information there. So thank you so much. All right, you guys. Well, we are into bonus time here. So Terry is away on vacation, so that's kind of what's on his schedule. I know he's got some things coming up, but you can check him out over at terrycombs.com. I'm not sure what Eric's revised schedule is based on his the way he's feeling right now. So I'm not sure about the take up today. My guess is probably no, because he said he had no voice. But you will see all three of us at the DAX show coming up here it's next week. So it's a week from now. So 14th and 15th, you will see all three of us at the DAX show. So make sure that you go over to daxshow.com and check out information over there. And I think that's about it, guys. I think we're going to, Ramona says no take up today. Now there will be a half. It may be a quarter today because it'll be just me. Maybe I'm efforting. So coming up in about 20 minutes, there will be the half. So check that out over at liveosg.com. I'll take you to the YouTube page, or you can find that on my Facebook page at Our Success Group Pro. So check that out here momentarily. And I think that's about it, though. So I just want to first thank Adam Court from Impressions Magazine for his time today and his fresh perspective. I can't wait to get him back on the show to talk about that stuff a little more deeply. It was great having him here today. And then just a huge shout out to Gavin and all the work that he's doing at Seps.io. And just the fact that he's so willing and open to share all of his knowledge, all the things that he's learned, and how these, systems and processes, it's pretty darn amazing that that somebody like that is willing to take time out of his day to do that for all of us. So thank you, Gavin. Again, make sure you guys go check out seps.io. And so next week we will be back in Tinley Park in Chicago, and back to DAX is where we're going to be. It will be another evening show, probably 6 or 7, maybe a little bit later, 7 o'clock on Friday night. It'll be more of a host show, because in case we have challenges with the internet again, we don't want to do that to one of our guests. Speaking of that, Denise from Silky Socks and I are already in conversations about kind of having another little extra bonus conversation coming up. So stay tuned for that information. I'll see if we can get that worked out, where he and I just get together, just the two of us, for a 20-30 minute conversation. And I think that's about it for us here today. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of your support here at Two Regular Guys, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week. So until then, sitting in for Terry, handling production duties for Eric, my name is Aaron Montgomery, and that was the Two Regular Guys.